we are done already. We are done already with the introduction to the study of globalization. This will be connect. This will help us connect on the first group presentation right now. So here is a question. We have here a question. Can you cite changes in our society and the world today? Definitely, every day there are changes. No, from the ancient time until today, there are various significant changes that happen in our world. That is why today we are living. This is the celebrated age, the global age today. That is what we call the recent time today is called the global age, where significant changes happen from the ancient time to the recent or what we call the contemporary world. Definitely, that changes, that processes are what we call the interconnectedness, the interaction and integration of different practices, different economic activity. Because when we talk about globalization, it is always associated with economy and technology. I'll repeat, when we talk always about globalization, we are always talking about economy and the same time our talking about also about our technology. So definitely that two important factors that really affects the different changes. So because of the advent of the technology, because of the economic activity of every individual in the world, ang nangyayari ay nagkakaroon ng pagbabago. I can really tell that you have observed that changes. So let's proceed. So we are done with that. No, ato lang basic concept lang ta. Let's have a short recap of the basic concepts in the study of globalization. So what globalization and how differs with globalism? So we have one word here, globalism. We have defined several times globalization. It is very difficult for us to have a very concise definition of globalization because there are various definitions. But definitely when we talk about globalization, it talks about, again, economy, technology, people, institution, organization in the world. So that's globalization. But how it differs from the word globalism? Definitely globalism and globalization differ from each other. So let us try to differentiate the two. So according to Manfred Stiger, globalization is the expansion, intensification of social relations. So when we talk about social relations, these are the activity of human being in the world. And consciousness across world time and across world space. So meaning to say, we are all aware of what is happening, the expansion. Pag musulti tag globalization, global, it means the coverage has expanded, meaning the scope is very wide. A global man, it's not only local, it's not only national, but the scope is global. That is why the word associated, according to Manfred Stiger, globalization is the expansion and intensification of social relations. So mas pinalawak pa ang relasyon ng mga tao, mga bansa sa hindi lamang sa kanilang lokalidad, hindi lamang sa kanilang bansa, kundi sa lahat ng panig ng mundo. So, what do you mean by expansion? It is both the creation of new social networks and the multiplication of existing connection. No? Meaning to say, we already have our connection from our locality, from our country, but because of expansion, because of the creation of these new social networks, so how did we connect from each other? That is because of the improvement of technology through the information, communication, and technology. That's ICT. That's the new social networks. Definitely, we can communicate, we can access, we can connect to each other because of this new creation of social networks. These social networks are in relation to communication, information, and technology. So balik-balik yun ang word na ICT. No? Sige. So we have here a picture that will help us understand No, help us understand the process of globalization, the expansion, the intensification of social networks, social relationship. How does the progress of communication, technology, globalization in general happen? So before, how we communicate, we use the fire and the smoke, no? Then the next time we have the use of, I think I discussed this one in my pre-recorded lesson, no? The use of the dove or the kalapati, the bird as form of communication. Then we have the technology, trumpet. Then this one is in the use of the postal records. And if you try to look at this one, telegram, then we have the use of the invention of telephone, by Alexander Graham Bell. And then here comes the mobile phone. Before the mobile phone, dapat ang mga karaan ng mga cell phones. The one with the different antennas, or what we call the beeper before we have what the touchscreen cell phones and mobile phones that we had. Then after the latter part, we have the video conference, the video call. Before, we only have the call and the text. Right now, we have what we call the video conference, the actual, the synchronous, the live video conferences. And in the last part, it is very possible. Today, we are using hologram. It seems that we are very near to that person, although that is very far from us. We cannot touch them, but we can feel that they are with us. That's the process of globalization based on the diagram that we are seeing right now. Next, the factors of globalization. Why globalization happened? Why we have this globalization right now? That is because of these different reasons or the factors. The first one is what we call the trade and transaction. If you try to look at earlier, we can see containers, ito ay sasakyang pandagat, sasakyang panghimpapawid. This trade and transaction causes globalization. Why there is an expansion, why there is an intensification, why people are more connected to each other, that is because of trade and transaction, or also called containerization, the improve of technology, and the trading blocks have been dissolved, meaning to say, we can easily trade from each other, from each country to one another, from country to country, we can trade. Now, have you observed that people right now, because of international trading, our country are producing different local products, but that local products is not only for the Filipinos. That local products may be subject for or good for the quality of that products must be make sure na mas taas yung quality because there are local products to be exported. When I say exported, ay binibenta sa ibang bansa. So meaning to say, for example, let's focus on our local products. We have our agricultural products like the bananas. We are one of the top list when it comes to exporting bananas. When I say exporting, nagbebenta tayo ng mga saging sa ibang bansa. Tayo ang pinagkukunan ng supply ng saging sa buong mundo. I think we are number 3 or number 2 or number 4 within that rank when it comes to banana exportation. Now look at most especially in the area of Mindanao. When you go to Panabo, Davao del Norte, they are planting a lot of bananas because we are an exporting country when it comes to banana. So that banana, that local products will be sent to other country in exchange of dollars or money because dollars are being used as a medium of exchange. Because before, if you try to recall, there is no money. If you have an idea about barter trading system, a product can be exchanged with another product, but it's very difficult for us to identify its value. If you have an idea or memory about exchanging product, some of our locals are going to the cities. They are bringing, for example, our indigenous people are going to the city. bringing their local products, the poultry, like for example, a chicken, a native chicken will be sold in the city, and it will be exchanged only for another product like sardines, no, canned goods in exchange of a native chicken. That's an example of a trading, no. So why there is an expansion, why there is a globalization, that is because of the improvement of technology that we have today. Our products could be easily reached from one country to another country because of transportation, because of technology. Before we engaged, no, when we were colonized by the Spaniards in our country was colonized by Spain, we have also trading. We also trade with other countries which also colonized by Spain, which is Mexico. That is the galleon trade, no? If you still remember your history class, the galleon trade is the name of the ship which our products are being brought to one country to another one. And the product of Mexico also will be exported here in our country. But it is controlled by Spain. So that's what we call trade and transaction. Another factor that could really affect why there is globalization, that is because of migration of people. No? So from one person going to another country, and the next time, the next thing that that person will do is he or she will bring his family to another country. So migration of people, because we can really easily reach a certain place right now, even just a single day or a minute or an hour, definitely a couple of hours, you can reach from one country to another country. That is because of the improved transportation that we have today. We have the aircraft, no, that could bring you from one place to another place. Another factor. Another factor is the movements of capital and investments. So improved technology, the growth of multinational corporations. So what's this? Now, have you observed that there are there are international corporations even in our country? No? Example, there are some products that was created in United States, but still we can still enjoy the same product that was created in United States that we can also enjoy here in our country. That is because of international cooperation or the multinational corporation. So what's this multinational corporation? These are companies which are originated in certain country, and they also have to invest in other country and establish another branch in other country. Like example for the food industry, like the food chain, like the McDonald's, no? McDonald's does not originated here in our country, Philippines. It originated in the United States. But why we can still enjoy the foods of McDonald's? That is because McDonald's is a multinational corporation. We don't go away na lang for soft drinks, Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola or Coke does not originated here in our country. It originated in the United States. But why Coca-Cola was able to reach in other countries, different countries? That is because of multinational corporation. Their presence are always there throughout the world. We also have the transportation, the automobile industry, kaya mga sasakyan, no? So that's an example of capital and investments. They have invested to our country to put up a new establishment, a new branch of their company. No? The multinational corporation does not only, the idea of multinational corporation is not only limited if you have some products here, you create a product, then you sell to other countries. That's not multinational corporation. Example, you have created a burger here in our country, then you sell that burger to Europe or US. It doesn't mean that it's already multinational corporation because you sell your product to other country. It should be a branch, and at the same time the company, the entire company, you bring that one to another country. Like McDonald's, I said, no? Jollibee has become multinational corporation because Jollibee is no longer Jollibee is not only here in the Philippines, because if you try to look at, there are different branches of Jollibee from other side of the world. So Jollibee is already a multinational corporation because they bring the entire company, not only their products. No? If you are making a product na na-create mo dito sa Pilipinas at ibinenta mo, for example, perfume, lumikha ka ng sarili mong perfume at ibinenta mo sa Japan, ang perfume, that is not multinational corporation. You just trade that one in other country. Because multinational corporation refers to the existence of the corporation itself in one country. That's multinational corporation. Another factor is the dissemination of knowledge, improve technology, growth, and global media and internet. Okay? So I think I've discussed already the 5 scapes of globalization. So what are the 5 scapes of globalization? According to Arjun Appadurai, there are multiple intersecting dimensions of integration with various kinds of globalization occur. Let's have first the ethnoscape. I think we are done with this one in our prelim. No? In the prelim, you have already answered this one, the ethnoscape, global movement of people. The mediascape is the flow of culture. The technoscape is the circulation of mechanical goods and software. The eduscape is the dimension where political views move around, and the financescape, worldwide circulation of money. I think I don't need to elaborate that one because it's done already in our preliminary discussion. And we also have the theories of globalization, the homogeneity and the homogeneous, no? Homogeneity and the heterogeneity. I think we are also done with this. So I will just skip on this. The same with, I will just read na lang to recap. Homogeneity, it is the increasing sameness in the world as cultural inputs, economic factors, and political orientations of societies expand to create common practices, same economies, and similar forms of government. Then the heterogeneity, it pertains to the creation of various cultural practices, new economies, and political groups because of the interaction of the elements from different societies in the world. It refers also to the differences because of either lasting differences or the hybrids or combination of culture that can be produced through the different transplanetary processes. Okay. So here is the answer of the question earlier, how globalization differs from globalism. So what is globalism? So to read, globalism is the widespread belief among powerful people that global integration of economic markets is beneficial for everyone. So we are now transitioning to the discussion of the group 1. So this is in connection with the group 1's discussion, which is the global economy. So please take note of our discussion today, this time about globalism, because it is in connection with the discussion of global economy. So globalism, again, it is a belief that among powerful people, this refers to the powerful country like United States, European countries, and some other countries in Asia which are considered to be a powerful country. That global integration, when you say integration, global integration, meaning to say the practices, the culture, the economic activities of one country from the powerful country can be integrated or can be copied, can be added to our own. Example, in the Philippines, we are integrated. Our economic market, our economic activities are patterned after other countries, like the United States. Definitely our economic format, our economic activities are always patterned after the United States. That is because we were influenced by United States. We are once a colony of the United States. Our form of economy is capitalism, or what we call a free economy. No? So I think this will be discussed by the first group, the global economy. So this is their topic, but definitely I will just give my overview as on the discussion. So I will just continue and finish my discussion so that the group one will be able to elaborate it well based on this discussion. So economy is the wealth, it is the wealth or resources of the country. You know? When you hear the word economy, it is always about business, trade, resources, okay, and financial resources, possibly. Now, again, I'll repeat. Once the word economy comes to your mind, it is always about resources or wealth, trading or businesses, investment, and also about all about the different transaction or different circulation of money. No? So now let's define the economic. The global economy is also associated with global economic globalization. No? Economic globalization or global economy is synonymous. It is characterized by the increasing integration of economies. So if you will try to go back on our discussion about the definition of globalization, it's always the process of interaction and integration of people, no? Practices, technology, economy. But when we focus on the topic economic globalization, no, we will consider that if you try to look at it, give emphasis on the integration of economic activity. No? That's the definition of IMF. Okay. So there is an international trading system. If you try to look at the picture, we can see some cargoes, container, which this probably the content of that container, most probably those are products of one country. I hope that you have the idea of export and import. No? When you talk about export, no, our discussion is all about economics. No? I hope that you can recall your discussion, your lessons during your high school year, your junior high school year about grade 9, I think, economics, international trading system, which export and import are being discussed, the different policies, international financial institution, international organization which deals with international trading system. That is why in the picture it shows that there are container van, there are transportation to transfer the goods to one place to another place. That's the part of globalization. But today, products are not only transported through this means of transportation. We have the cargo ships. We also have the aircraft could also bring one product to one country to another. So the circular flow of economy. Now, if you try to look at this one, this was discussed most probably in your economics subject during your high school year. Definitely, it's all about how our economy operates in a certain country. No, wherever you want to start, there is always a cycle on that. No, so for this we will try to start with a factor of market on the upper right side. No, a company or industry or a factory will always be dependent on the demand of the households or the people, different residences, mga consumer. So if I am a producer, I will always base my production based on the demand of my consumers, of my customers. No? So mo na siya. Then, factors of production, kung sa blue ka, mapadulong, businesses buy factors of production, sell the products. That products are goods and services. Then we have the firm sell, household buy. Then the household sell factors of production and buy the products. Okay, we will go deeper on that discussion. Anyway, we have still time to discuss the circular flow of economy, but definitely we'll just focus on global economy right now. Okay, I will just go through to this because the group one will discuss this one, the Silk Road, the oldest international trade route. The mercantilism also will be discussed by the first group. Gold standard, the mercantilism, the World War, the Great Depression, the fiat currencies, the global Keynesianism by Keynes, and the Bretton Woods system will be discussed by the group one. Okay, so I will end my presentation to this time so that I could give back to our presenter the discussion.